What's going on, man? What's the deal with everybody? The question that everybody seems to always want to ask is there such thing as a cool CO? I got the answer. At least I think I got the fucking answer. So that's what we're gonna do, bro. We're gonna get into this. We're gonna talk about, is there any cool COs? What makes a CO cool? You know, what is he doing to be cool? Is he really cool, or does he want something from you at all times? Let's get it. Okay, so COs and training and all these correctional officers, the one thing they go through is do not be manipulated by an inmate. Everything that you talk to, every inmate you talk to, everything you talk about, any exchange you have with an inmate, be guarded and have your wall up, because that said inmate is always looking to pull one over on you, intimidate you, maybe manipulate you, get leverage, always find leverage. You know, these are the basic concepts that these COs who come out of the academy have been taught and schooled to think. Now, on the flip side of this, right? They don't operate like this always. These COs come to work, and they don't all come to work with this preconceived notion that they have to act a certain way because of their training. Some do. You can tell which ones do, and some don't. You can tell which ones don't. What makes a CO cool? Is it the fact that he's willing to bring you in some dope? Is it the fact that he's down to bring you a cell phone? It could even be the fact that he lets you smash on somebody. It could be the fact that he don't trip on you when, you know, he caught you getting down with your homie, or you had a discipline, or he had a discipline coming and things happen. He's seen it, boom, didn't like it. I myself have been through the situation many more times than I can count. And maybe it's important that I do give credit to all those COs who used to catch me doing shit and let a motherfucker have a pass, right? They would always give me this pass, and it was either like, and don't get me wrong, you can't get a pass for some heavy stuff. So I never expected passes for the heavy stuff that I was doing. Nah. But for the little things, I'm in a level 4 prison. I've been in the level 4 prison. So if I'm tattooing, whether I'm in the hole in that seg tattooing, if I'm in the shoe tattooing, if I'm tattooing on the yard, 9 out of 10 COs ain't even going to bother with you. But you always do have those super COs that just got to say something. They just want to get a write-up under their belt. Just straight up lames. No matter how real with them, no matter how, upfront you be with them, they just lames. So, does it necessarily make a CO cool if he lets you get away with murdering or assaulting another inmate? Does it make him cool if he brings you a phone, if he brings you drugs, or looks the other way when you need him to look the other way? For the longest amount of years, I used to think that's what made a cool CO cool. Now, I've experienced this when it came to drinking. I experienced this when it came to drug use. I experienced this when it came to fighting, to violence, putting in work. We had so many. There were COs even in the hole that when I used to want to get, I had so much, been back there so long, so much recognition with these COs. Not that they gave me any special favors, but they respected my write-ups. I was never going back there based on no like 812 shit or no enemy concerns, no bullshit like that. I was always back there getting down. That when someone would come in woofing shit, because S&Y is different. You got a lot of people, they can talk shit behind the door, they can get loud, and they, you can sell up and you can get down. Happens a lot. Homies actually do have disagreements, talk shit over the tier, whatever, sell up and handle business. So it got to the point where the cops, the COs, they hear that shit. They're on the tier, they hear the woofing. I tell them, look, hey, sir, excuse me, sir, is it cool if I sign a sell up chrono with this dude? I want to go up in the cell, and just, you sure you want to go over there? Yeah, man, it's all good, man. You know what I mean? I got this. He's all right, bro. Those kind of COs too. So for me, how I see it, what kind of CO did I come to appreciate the most? I guess for me, at the end of the day, I felt like any more a CO that's willing to bring in drugs, phones, or anything like that is just another dangerous factor in prison in your life. Now, if you're in the mix and you're in the mess of things, it don't matter. You cool. He's turned up. You turned up. He's good looking out. But although he's cool for the moment, what happens when the heat's on you? You know what I mean? And let's say you need a CO to be professional. You need him to kind of operate by the books, but he don't do that because he was a cool CO. Remember he was so cool he would look the other way. What happens when it comes time to look the other way for your ass? Then what? right? However, I kind of like the ones that bring a cell phone in. I like the ones that are about that money. You know what I mean? I like the ones that come in, they just work in their 8 hours. They're not trying to be homies. They're not trying to get to know you. But they every now and then they pick somebody, or they got that person that they got their eyes on that got that money, an inmate, and you got to understand, when I was pushing phones, I was pushing them for 1,200 for a flip phone, a prepaid, maybe $45 phone, Verizon. I think the most I sold one of those motherfuckers was for $1,200 in prison. So you can't, you know what I mean? There's some COs that want to get some more money in their hand. You can't be hating on them. I don't hate on them. These days, I can't tell you what's going on with as far as CDCR. There's so much madness going on. I'm sure every yard is just too chaotic for anything like that. But man, the kind of ones that I couldn't stand, the COs that used to get under my skin, were the ones who would just come to work and thought they were hard because they wore a uniform or they had pepper spray and a baton. Of course, they're not going to say that. Of course, they're going to just say they're hard because that's who they are. But we all know at the end of the day, if you see them on the other side of the fence as a free man, they wouldn't talk to you like that. They wouldn't get at you like that. They wouldn't disrespect you. You have a lot of COs that don't know nothing about respect. They have this cattle mentality where you're just cattle. You're just another little flock, and they just herd you together off onto the next stop. And then before you know it, you got to put up with a whole another set of COs that got an issue. Obviously, you know how I feel about the ones who kind of want to make a gang of themselves, because a lot of COs like to do that. They try to style themselves and fashion their little faction to look like they're still down. You got the COs who are still down, still homies, supposedly, right? I don't like them. I'm not cool with them. I like the ones who come to work, understand that they have a job, understand that their job is not to hate. It's not to judge, right? If you can come to work and not judge, then I think you could be considered what is considered a cool CO, right? Will a CO ever truly be cool? Will he ever truly be, cool? Probably not. I'm not to like other people's standards. They're gonna say at the end of the day he's still a cop, so he's still gonna write my ass up if he catches me doing this. So every CO can only be cool to a certain extent, and I understand that, but I think doing time, it's important to realize and kind of you have relationships in prison with like everything. Everything is related to you, whether it's with the inmate, whether it's with the CO, whether it's with the captain, committee, whoever you know what I mean, you're relating to at the time. You see people, especially they become regulars if you're in the hole or if you're in the shoe. These COs become regulars. The ones who work there consistently throughout the week all year long or until their bid ends and they got to bid up for another spot. And so what you learn to do is kind of just tend to that relationship, whether it's just purely you know let me get this please, can I get this please, thank you, bye, or if it's a what's up man, what you do yesterday bro, oh what did you eat, da 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 da. There's all many different types of dialogues that one can have with correctional officers, some of them. And for me, I just would pick and choose strategically on which ones I put any effort into, as far as humoring and communicating, opening some kind of dialogue that had a less tense vibe to it. And then there were some where I would just give them the whole total standoffish vibe. Like, if you tell me anything, I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna nut up on you, bro. I'm gonna go hard on you. It is what it is. I'm not trying to get hard with you though. I'm not trying to fight you. I'm not. I don't want to lose that one, because you're gonna lose that one. You lose every fight against the CO. But even everything I've been through, the pain, the violence, the abuse. But if I wish I could remember this CO's name in Wasco, man, he kicked my ass, and I still have not got over this one. Man, I wish I could remember his damn name. Big ass white dude in Wasco was transferring me from a D6, which is Ad Seg, to one of the blocks. And I ended up bombing on some dude right as soon as we got out of our handcuffs. I started bombing on some dude, and this dude demolished me. Demolished the CO. Whew, it was ugly. But even after all that shit, even after the head games, after all the crap, I'm not one of these fools out here that's like, you know, not understanding the dynamics, because the dynamics are the dynamics of prison. Somebody has to run prison. Someone has to be an authority. We can't all be robbers. There has to be cops and robbers. So, you know, I'm all for, you know, you do the crime, you do the time. You know, we as men, you shouldn't bitch about, you know, the treatment you get from authorities, right? To an extent, because it gets to a point where these people should not have the luxuries that they have if they're acting like criminals. They get paid too well. They live too well to behave the way they do. I'm telling you, sometimes they come to work, they joke around, they talk shit. They look just like inmates, but they're just in green uniforms. There's really not much difference. And I know people who are involved in the middle of all this stuff, working there and who have worked there, and all they do is have sex with each other. All they do is spread gossip on each other. All they do is, it's just one big game, and hurting inmates from one point to the next, or just babysitting them while they go to yard, is like 5% of the job. The rest is all the intricacies of, you know, the stuff they got going on, between paperwork, between, you know, dealing with going to training, captains, and so on and so forth. So what I will say, and I don't care what none of y'all motherfuckers say, shout out, much respect to the correctional officers out there that are actually cool, according to the standards that I feel they're cool. Cool as if, you know, they're not trying to bust you and write you up every single time. Cool as if they do write someone up and they see that he's a second striker and the write-up could be a DA referral, they kind of pull back. Cool as if, you know, every now and then if someone's got something coming, they look the other way. Not looking the other way every fucking time, because you can't just let pure violence kick off without some kind of, you know, recognition that it's going to happen. Otherwise, a lot of people will end up dead. So shout out to the cool ones who don't come to work with a judgment already cast. You know, they come to work and yeah, they hear it, and it's hard because these C.O.s, they come in underneath the senior C.O.s, right? And the senior ones are already turned up on some bullshit. So I've seen younger ones coming off the academy, hella cool, and then you see them 2 months later and they totally switched up on you with how they address you, how they communicate to you, how they ask you questions. It's more or less respectful. So I don't respect those ones, and I just wanted to make this video basically to say, though, that there is a such thing as a good correctional officer, and you know, I've seen them, I've ran across them, I've been given many chances, I've been given many passes when I didn't deserve them. I would go in homie cell for the times I would be on the yard. You know, I'd be in a homie cell, we'd be in there, I'd be tattooing, we'd be drinking. Out of nowhere, the door opens. What the fuck you doing in here? You know, they search the cell, pull out floater TVs, a Zenith, old school Zenith TV. They're pulling out Super 3 radios, etc., etc. They find a little this, they find a little that. Feel me? And no write up. You know, you kind of just get a little warning, or maybe go lock it up for the night. You know what I mean? And just keep it for the night. You don't get no day room, but no write up. That's some cool shit. Those is cool C.O.s. You know, not the crooked ones, not the ones who's gonna be like, hey, look. You know, homie over there, you know, I know, is that your homeboy? Oh, that's your homeboy? Okay, because look, you know, he got into it, you know, with one of our C.O.s. He creates a lot of drama, man. Maybe you can get at him. Before you know, you got inmates doing police work, you know, policing ourselves for the police, basically. So there's a lot of ins and outs. My question to everybody, if you even still here following this video, is, if you were in prison, well, first off, if you've been in prison, have you ever came across C.O.s that had given you a pass? Have you ever seen a C.O. that was not quick to punish you, discipline you, or write you up? If you haven't been to prison, I want to ask you, if you did go to prison, what kind of C.O. would you want to do your time under, right? Like, what kind of correction officers would you want to be around? Would you want to be around the kind that would look the other way and let violence happen to keep the overall bigger picture together, or would you rather be around C.O.s that would write you up and just real petty, by the book C.O.s? That's my question to y'all. So thanks for tuning in to Savage Studios. Much love, much respect to all you. Check out that merchandise that I drop underneath all my videos. Like this video if you like it. Go ahead and subscribe if you're feeling it. And much love to all y'all for almost getting me to 15K. Doses.